expert on all things China, Michael Pillsbury, joins me now. All right, Michael, realistically, what can we expect from these early high-level talks?
Well, the first thing, Stuart, is going to be a test of the two different theories put forward in our country about how weak China is. You've got one set of commentators, I call them the extremists. They portray China as weak, about to collapse, unemployment, just in a terrible situation. And they use the word desperate. China is desperate to make a deal. If that's the case, these talks would only last 2 or 3 hours. What will come out this afternoon that Edward will report would be the tariffs will be very low. The export controls have been removed. The rare earths problem is solved. That's all one gamble, you might say. The other gamble, I think, and the one I think is actually happening, China is actually quite strong. They've discovered this rare earth card they can play that makes us desperate. Our factories would be shut down, quite a few, not just battery factories, if they don't have these rare earths. The Chinese concern about fentanyl, they stick to their guns. They just won't help us on fentanyl. There's been no progress on that. And they seem to be not afraid of tariffs. They seem to be able to, as long as the tariffs are not above, say, 60 or 70%, the Chinese seem very relaxed. So we have these two forecasts in conflict, Stuart, and within a few hours, I think we're going to find out who's right and who's wrong.
What leverage do you think we have on China?
Our leverage is the level of tariffs. President Trump has already said several times he's thinking about setting the tariffs if we can't make a deal in the 70 to 80% range. The Chinese can live with that. It probably will not solve the problem. The other leverage we have is export controls. And frankly, Stuart, that's why it's a very good thing the president is sending Howard Lutnick. The Commerce Department has this little known but all-powerful bureau called the Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS. They're the ones who set the export controls. So that's our leverage. We can tell the Chinese, look, you need design software to do the next generation of chips. That's your key to artificial intelligence, and you're getting ahead of us. We're not going to give you that design software. That already happened last week. Several U.S. companies got letters from the BIS saying no more design software to China. That's one of our biggest sources of leverage, Stuart. And I think it might work.
Interior Secretary Doug Burgum said this about countering China. Roll that tape, please.
China has, going back almost 3 decades, had a very strategic long-term strategy of cornering the market for critical and rare earth minerals. One of the reasons why the Trump administration, having a pro-energy, get back in the energy business, not just drill, baby, drill, but we got to mine, baby, mine. President Trump smart enough to say we've got to get back in the game of having a tremendous amount of electricity here to be able to compete and win in the arms race.
So, Michael, is energy our strong position? Is it our best counter to China?
It's one of the best. I totally agree with Secretary of the Interior Burgum that the key for our side is unleashing our own economy, the development in Alaska of energy sources. There's just a whole series of things that President Trump has already started. That's going to be our sort of secret sauce or secret weapon in this kind of long-term competition with China. But as Secretary Burgum is implying, it's in my book, Stuart, 100-Year Marathon. 30 years ago, the Chinese laid down this strategy. It's still working for them. We have the idea of how to slow them down, but we haven't really implemented it yet. So we have a long way to go. And these talks today are going to give us a clue just how strong China is and just how strong we are. That's the gamble that's going to be taking place.
Yeah, we'll be looking for it. Michael Pillsbury, thanks for joining us, sir. We always appreciate it. See you again soon.
Thanks, Stuart.